everybody. I'm Dan Gresham. Welcome into my house. It is a Friday edition of Dan's At Home Update, and we hope that it finds you well on this 26th day of March for 2021. We're going to hang around for a few minutes. We're not going to stay too terribly long. We have a lot of things going on today that we need to take care of, and I'm sure you're the same way. It's Friday. And I was joking with Jillian. I said, because it's been my first week back in the studio. I've been working from home post shoulder surgery, and this is my first week I went back and kind of working. And next week, even better, because next week we're actually going to be together in the studio for the first time in a year. Jillian and Dan on the same set with, everybody else. So it's exciting. It's exciting to get back together. It's exciting to be able to spend some time in conversation. And it changes the whole complexity of the show, whether you're sitting there by yourself or if you have somebody to talk to. And obviously we have you to talk to every morning, and that's important. But to be able to talk to each other, I think I'm looking forward to it. I really am. But I've got a busy day going on today. I've got second session of physical therapy. Got to look forward to that. There's nothing like a little pain to start your day, is there? I have some choice words for some friends of mine who are like, oh yeah, no. But it's not that bad. And you know what? No matter how bad it is, it's one of those things you just kind of got to grin and bear it and get on with it. It is life. And life throws you some of those things sometimes, and you just deal with them. We're going to, and we'll keep keeping you up to date with what's going on. And again, I just want to say thanks to everybody that's been concerned enough to ask and who's wished me well. And, somebody said, well, I didn't even know what's going on. I was like, well, I didn't wear that big bulky shoulder strap every day because I didn't want people to have to look at it. It's pretty massive. The whole idea was to keep one side of your body immobile. So, a lot of people, because I had it on from like this much down, but I didn't have the strap on the top. People didn't realize that I was wearing it, so that I would encounter them in public and they would, I was accused of wearing a shoulder holster for a gun, all kinds of things, when people would encounter me. But it is getting better and we are moving forward. So we're going to jump into a Friday. And if you're just joining us for the first time on one of our at-home updates, this is not a newscast. I'm not here to read you the headlines. That's not what I'm going to do. And that's not what we've been doing for over a year. We just kind of take a casual look at some stories, some things that are happening, and try to bring it from a macro approach or down to the micro approach. Macro being all the headlines that are happening, all the stories around the world that if you really invest, it's overwhelming. To try to keep up with everything that's going on. We are bombarded from so many different directions. I just realized you can see my thermos. Yes, this is Dan's coffee cup on a Friday. But we are bombarded with all that news. It's too much. No wonder people are so angry about it. It's too much. So take it from that macro and bring it down and really delete those stories or look at them once and know what they are. And then bring it down to the stories that really matter to you. And even those, you don't have to chew on them all day. One spoonful, one dose is probably enough. People that's all they do is read news. Even I, as a journalist who's done this for more than 40 years, I am not going to spend all day because it will eat you up if that's all you do. At least that's my philosophy. And you've kind of got to get it. You have the ostrich syndrome. You've kind of got to pull your head out of the sand. You don't want to ignore it all, but at the same time, you don't want to be so absorbed by it that you have no other life. All right, so all that being said, this is casual. I want to hear from you. If you're watching this morning, you want to say hi, you want to tell me where you're watching from, you want to tell me what's on your mind, you want to tell me what you're dying to do. It's like, man, I want to do this. I'm tired of doing that. Tell me what it is. Let's say good morning to some folks this morning. Hey, Chason, hope you're having a good day so far. Esther, good morning to you as well. Dixie is up with us. Harvey is watching this morning as well as Virginia. Good to see you as well. Tammy, good morning. Yes, it is Friday. Anna says, Happy Friday. Carlene, good morning. Joe, good morning to you as well. Jeannie Foster says good morning from Viter. Joseph is up with us this morning. Jennifer Cartwright, thank you. You have a great Friday yourself. Elton says good morning. Mary Harrison, good morning, Dan. Everyone have a blessed day. We're certainly going to try. Thelma, good morning to you. Elton Grubb says, is Dana on vacation? This is not a question that I like to answer. It's not a question that I have to address, but it is a fact. Dana is no longer with KFDM TV, a corporate decision, nothing that we had anything to do about locally, but it is what it is. And you know, again, I talked to Dana yesterday. Everything's good. You know, he's out there, you know, trying to get things done, looking for employment, you know, trying to move forward. But, and of course, I wish him nothing but the best, and we'll continue to stay close friends, and I'll keep you up to date on what's going on. But again, Dana is no longer with us on the morning show, and I miss him every day. Dana doesn't work there anymore. There you go. Jeannie Foster, good morning to you. Also, B. Sims, good morning. Rose says good morning. Mary Harrison is up there in Port Arthur. Hi, Mary. Carrie is up this morning. And then Tammy is up, as we mentioned. All right, so some of the folks that are up, some of the folks that are going. We have our regulars who I love to see every morning and say hello to and be able to talk to. And they know what's going on, so they kind of follow. And then for other folks, we try to catch you up. So let's do this. Let's jump in, take a look at where we usually start. That's KFDM.com. And you can see those are the headlines of the day. If you haven't never followed us, Fridays, it's kind of the idea, don't give me no bad news. It's Friday. You know, if you want the headlines, you know where to find them. If there was a breaking story this morning that impacted all of us to the point that it was going to change the course of our day, I would certainly share it with you. But I want you to do the heavy lifting today. You go find it if you need to. KFDM's a great place. You can see the concern of the Port Arthur mayor over downtown revitalization. You can find out about Texas lawmakers and what they're doing, proposing a bill for stiffer penalties. You can find out about a person police were chasing yesterday in Beaumont who died in a crash after fleeing from officers. All of it's there. Go and read it. But for me today, I'm going to keep it light. It's Friday. So that being said, a couple of stories today, and you're going to see there is a common thread that's going to run through these stories. All right. First of all, this is a great place. If you've never been in Houston, let me get back to the top of the story. By the way, Houston Chronicle, the byline is Allison Medley. Houston organizers fight to keep the legacy of River Oaks Theater alive, rolling out 3 events. If you've never been to the River Oaks, it is one of those throwback theaters that Kay and I enjoy going to when we can. And we will go over and sneak over there and see whether it's an art house film or it's just a cool old theater that takes me back to my childhood. You know, where they still have the popcorn machine. It's just a fun place to go. But the problem being the pandemic, because this is not a chain-owned theater, it's not going to survive the pandemic, which is a total shame. But anyway, it's a great old theater. I'd love to see it stay around. We're going to continue to watch this story to see if somebody steps up to save truly a Houston landmark, River Oaks. I love the billboard there, the signage on the front of the theater. It's just that classic downtown movie theater. You know, we all had them in our hometowns, especially if you grew up in a smaller town. You had that. You know, that was the place every Saturday, Friday night, Saturday morning. Now, I remember as a kid going on Saturday morning, our parents would take us and drop us off at the movie theater. And it seems like we stayed all day. It'd be like a triple, you know, I was going to say a double feature. It'd be more like a triple feature or something. And they were usually themed some way. Do you remember any of those? If you're older, you you would go and they'd have like the horror shows. I'll never forget. One of them was, I don't know, was it Dracula movie? But they had a coffin in the theater lobby, and they had somebody dressed up as Dracula. Yeah, and they would do that. And then I can remember as a kid, The Rifleman was this big television show, and the person who starred in The Rifleman, not as the Rifleman, but as his son, and I can't remember, Johnny something, and I can't remember his last name now. Anyway, he did a movie. And so he came to my hometown and introduced the movie on a Saturday morning. We were all like, wow, you know. I don't know. There's a connection to the past. And I hate to see us think that, you know, just tear it down and build something new. There's something to be said for holding on to some of these landmarks and some of this connection to the past, right? It's good. I mean, to be able to tell your grandchildren, instead of having to dig it up, you know, from the ruins like we do other, you know, past civilizations, let's keep some of these things around. Let's hold on to some of if it's not a danger, if it's not a threat, you know, then let's hold on to them as long, you know, if we can. And this is a good example of that. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. If you've never been, it is a cool theater. And then moving on to the way we watch things now. You ever have entertainment creep in your life? No, it's not a person. It's something that happens. When I say entertainment creep, it's like, okay, I'm going to get this streaming service. Well, it's only $5. Why wouldn't I get it? $5. I'll lose $5 on the way to work in the car. You know, I don't know where it goes. Then it's $5. The next thing you know, it's $10. The next thing you know, you're paying $20. And pretty soon, you know. And I say that because all of them do this. You know, you originally started with maybe Netflix and you were paying $8, you know, and now it's, I don't know what it is. That's the other thing. You know, you put it on a credit card and it comes out and pretty soon you're not even paying attention to it and it keeps going up. Now, it's not like they're throwing extra money. It's just like I said, this is a new one. Disney Plus, we have it at my house. I have 9 grandkids. Sure, I'm going to have Disney Plus. It's inexpensive, but it is going up. And the other danger that you have, if you're not careful, you know, you'll get this one, Disney, then you'll get Discovery Plus, and then you'll get Paramount Plus, and then you'll get Hulu Live, and then you look down and you go, okay, I cut the cord to this one, but now I'm paying just as much as I was paying before. And of course, then they'll bundle them like this, where you can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, you know, at a certain price. And then my special thing that I really like about these is now they have, what is it, Disney Plus Premium. So if you want to see some of their first run movies, which of course, who knows better what's coming on Disney Plus than the kids who watch it? They're like, oh, hey, we want to watch that. And you're like, oh, okay, well, let's watch it. You know, they're over to spend the night. Let's watch the movie. And then you realize, okay, sorry, your grandpa's too cheap, you know, to pay that extra $30 a month so that you can have that one. I'm just saying, it's out there. So entertainment creep, I think, is just, and now we've gone through a pandemic where we were all watching streaming because we couldn't get out of the house. And we're at that point where it's like, there's nothing to watch because we've watched it all. We've seen anything there is to see. So now that we can get back outside, I have a feeling that's probably going to change for sure. All right, so that being said, that's one. And then here's my last one for you today. If you are looking for something to watch this weekend, this is actually kind of an interesting documentary that's out there. It's called The Last Blockbuster. And I bring this up because, again, you know, I mentioned movie theaters kind of being a throwback. So are DVDs. So this is kind of fun because it talks about, you know, how VHSs, what they came to be and what they were and how popular they became and how Blockbuster changed everything. And it's pretty interesting because if you remember back, you know, to the late, I don't know what, 1990s, early 2000s maybe, But it was really the early 90s, I think, that, Blockbusters really came into being. And, it was just amazing how it changed everything, because the little mom and pop video stores, if you went to them, they might have, if they were lucky, they might have one copy of the latest movies, the new releases, because they were expensive. For these mom and pops to buy the new releases, 80, 90 bucks, sometimes more than that. So they might only get one copy. And then they'd rent the heck out of it, right? But then Blockbuster came along, a chain, and they would have 40 copies, 100 copies of Braveheart, or whatever the movie was that came out. And there was no way that mom and pop could compete with Blockbuster. So eventually, the mom and pop video store, unless you were content to watch older videos, kind of disappeared. But there was one Blockbuster left. And I don't remember, it's either Oregon or Washington State. And it finally closed not too long ago. Now, Blockbusters went out of business, the chain, some time ago, but not before they made buku money back in the days of VHS, and then even DVRs in the beginning, before people started sending them to you in the mail, or you could get them from the red box down at the corner, right? So anyway, go read them. It's an interesting read in Texas Monthly, but it's also a very good documentary that is out there. And I want to say that it's Hulu that has the documentary. You can find it. You probably know better than I do. All right, so that's it for me today. A Good News Friday. I'm going to sneak out of here and remind you that there are a lot of ways to follow what's going on around the world. Of course, KFDM.com is a good start. You also hang around here at the KFDM Facebook page. We always post up the latest stories on social media. You can also follow me on Twitter, Morning TV Dan, or our YouTube channel is Dan's at Home. You can subscribe. You're essentially going to see the same thing that you see here on the KFDM Facebook page, but you just know it's there and you don't have to look for it, right? Again, let me just say how much I appreciate your taking the time to visit with us today, to drop by. You go out and make it a terrific weekend, and I will see you back here bright and early Monday morning on KFDM TV with The Morning Show.